All right, this is the 101st District Court continuing the proceeding in DC 20-02221, Brandon Rainwater v. Markies, Deandre, Conway. This is 20-02221, Brandon Rainwater v. Deandre, Conway. This is okay, let's try it again. See if they can hear me. Okay. Can you all hear me now, counsel?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
I can hear you, Your Honor.
I think we were getting some type of feedback. Hold on. This is the continuation of cause number DC 20-02221, Brandon Rainwater v. Markies, Deandre, Conway. The same attorneys who were representing the parties at the beginning of this trial are the same ones, attorneys and parties who are present today via Zoom. When we last concluded, we were in the middle of cross-examination of the plaintiff, Brandon Rainwater. You may continue, Mr. Valles.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Rainwater, just to kind of, I know it's been some time since we last spoke, so just kind of, I'm going to rehash a couple of things. If I recall correctly, you said you grew up in a private school and grew up in the church, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So with that being said, you understand the importance that you swore your oath to tell the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you understand the penalty if that's violated, correct?
Right.
All right. With that being said, we'll go forward. You labeled yourself, and if I'm mislabeling you, please let me know. You were kind of the brains behind the operation, correct?
Music.
When you say music, did you do any executive producing or producing on any of the songs?
No, after he passed away.
All right, could you stop just for 1 second? Can we increase the volume?
Counsel, it's easy to hear. Witness.
Yeah. Is there a way for the witness? I know that the mic is not on for Mr. Rainwater. Is there a way to get the mic on him? Because in the Zoom, it's showing and it's mute, and we're having his voice is muted, and there's nothing we can do on our end.
Okay. Both together again.
Can you all switch, Mr. Matthias and Mr. Rainwater?
Let's try unmuting. Try unmuting.
Can you hear me? Test.
Okay. Yeah.
Try again.
Test.
Is that better? Okay, that's perfect. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
Please, Mr. Valles,
Yes, ma'am.
please proceed.
Okay, thank you. So you did no executive producing?
Before he died, no, and no.
Okay.
I just let him be an artist, and he just an artist and put out anything he wanted to do. And he was signed to a label.
Did you have any input on the music he put out, like decision making?
I had no decision.
Okay. So you had no creative input on the music at all?
Certain songs that was hits, like the songs that we had plaques about. We made plaques about, but like a lot of stuff, nah. I just let him be an artist.
Okay. Did you get to select what songs you try to go take to radio or put out?
No, the label do. That's a label job. A manager is just babysitting, and a label job is to control the music that's out.
Okay. Did you do anything to create attention for him, publicity or anything, or managing publicity wise for him?
Oh no, a managers don't have the control to do publicity. Labels do, and the artists do.
Okay. So how would you manage him on a day-to-day? You said you're a babysitter, so how
I
did
just
you,
answer the phone and book shows and book studio times.
did you ever hang with him personally outside of just work? Do you,
No,
y'all didn't have a close relationship at all?
we had a close relationship, but we didn't hang together.
Y'all never hung out outside of just
Oh,
what?
every day we was work. Every day we was working. So after work, he go his separate way, I go my separate way.
So what was a typical day for y'all, work-wise?
Uh, I couldn't recall. It's been 4 years since he passed.
Well, please try to think and see what you can remember.
I just didn't. Yeah, I can't recall. Like we were just studio time and work. We just studio time and work at time.
So when he'd have to go do appearances at clubs, you would never show with them or never go with them?
Yeah, this work. Yes, but we didn't hang out together. Only time we went to clubs, and he didn't do appearance unless he had a contract and he was doing shows. He never just went to the clubs and hung out.
Okay,
I went to the club. I went to the clubs by myself and promoted his music, and I let my artists be at home, and he never hung out.
okay. You said previously in testimony of yours that you try to stay away from the streets, right?
Yes.
Wouldn't you classify him as a street guy?
No, I can't. I can't classify a person that's not here as anything.
Well, at the time of when he was alive,
I I think he classified himself. I can't classify him as anything. You should listen to his music. He'll tell you what he is, what
okay,
he
well, I
was.
did listen to his music, and he was
Yeah.
very much a violent person in his music and even in his background in his life.
Yeah, I
Sorry,
can't speak.
why is-
Not here.
how is this relevant to, how's that going to help my jury make a decision today?
But Your Honor, I'm touching into the subject. My client's music was brought up, is used against him. I'm just doing the same, Your Honor.
I'm not, but your client is a named party in this case.
Yes, ma'am.
Individual to which you're referring is not.
Yes, ma'am.
If the individual to which you're referring is deceased, I don't think, I'm having a hard time getting a connection between where you're going and how this is going to help us reach a verdict in this case.
I understand, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you. So again, you said you wouldn't label him as a street guy.
I can't label anyone that's not here as nothing. He spoke for himself.
Okay. So you would never say you two did street activities together?
No.
No? Okay. And you did nothing to promote violence is what you're saying as well.
No, sir. I was a manager. A manager cannot promote violence.
Well,
I
would you say you have a large following on social media?
yes.
Is a lot of what you do promotion wise and marketing wise done on social media?
It's hand in hand. I do a lot of promotion in person. I do more promotion in person, and I have a large social media where I basically do a lot of comedy on social media.
Just comedy?
Yeah, basic comedy, little rap, but it's nothing to promote or nothing to promote heavy promotion of music. If I'm promote music heavily, I'm going in the streets
So you're
and
going into the
in the clubs and the businesses and
well,
in
sometimes wouldn't
person.
some people say look, those lines get blurred between the clubs and the streets because a lot of street people are in the clubs.
Yeah, I've never been a street person, so I can't tell you what the streets is about.
You've never been a street person
No.
and never hung around street people.
I manage street people.
So that makes it a close affiliation for you, does it not? So you're at that point, you're mixed in with street.
Objection, vague, argumentative, and I'd ask for a definition of what you're referring to in terms of street.
Objection sustained. First of all, if you're going to continue with this line of questioning, I need for you to provide a definition of what you mean by street people. And I would like to advise those who are watching us on live stream, there is a box in the lower right-hand corner that says "Do not record." If the court becomes aware of any recordings of these court proceedings, you will be issued a show cause order and you will be up to sanctioning by this court. So please do not record this proceedings. You may proceed. Objection sustained. Mr. Valius, you may continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. How many followers would you say you have on Instagram?
I'm not sure at this moment. Over 100,000.
How about on your Twitter?
I haven't been in my Twitter in a long time. That's fake accounts.
Do you use Facebook,
Not often.
Snapchat?
Not often.
So your main source of the social media platform, you would say, is Instagram?
TikTok. Bingo.
TikTok and Bingo, they're bigger than Instagram for you?
Yeah.
How many followers do you have or connections?
Engagement. It's all about engagement. I have a lot of engagements on other platforms than Instagram.
And what are these other engagements?
Just higher engagement. At the time when
Objection, relevance. Where are we going with this?
I am, Mr. Valius, we're trying to finish things up and I'm not quite sure. My jury knowing how many Instagram followers or bingo, which I've never heard of, is actually going to be relevant to help my jurors determine whether or not there's liability on the part of your client and what money damages. It's interesting, but we really don't have time for just interesting. It's got to be relevant, please.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I'm not trying to do it just interesting. It's everything is relevant, Your Honor.
I'm having a hard time tying this all in.
I understand, Your Honor.
So where are we going with this line of questioning? Why do we need to know how many, except I'm jealous, he does have more Instagram followers than I do. But, besides that, where are we going with this?
Your Honor, this gentleman uses his social media following to inflame situations, cause and stir situations, fights, and conflict throughout.
Okay,
So-
that's an editorial comment, but unless you have proof that that's what happened on the night of the incidents, we can't jump that hurdle.
I understand, Your Honor.
All right, with that in mind, please
Okay.
proceed.
Sir, you mentioned that a large amount of the money you lost was income right after this incident, correct?
2020.
Yeah. And what month was that?
From February all the way to November.
Yeah. Wasn't that the same time of the COVID shutdown?
Yes.
Okay. So weren't all venues and social gatherings shut down for that anyway?
It was, but Mo3 was a different type of artist that we did a lot of appearances to videos, studio times. We did all his interviews. A lot of stuff was just completely shut down to where he couldn't move around and I couldn't move around. So we follow the rules of the United States about the venues, but we wasn't getting a lot of money out venue money at the time.
I don't believe anyone was getting venue money at that time because social gatherings of that nature were shut down.
Exactly in May. May throughout the year it was back open, but our money came different where we have a lot of features and video appearance. So we wasn't getting a lot of money at that.
So how are you not getting a lot of money at that time if most things venue-wise were shut down?
We're not talking about we're talking about videos and features. So if an artist get a feature, then break it down. If an artist get a feature, we have to fly to California. We wasn't able to fly to California to do a feature. At the time, we were charging $15,000 for a feature and $10,000 for a video appearance. It's $25,000. We wasn't able to do that at the time.
Why was your client not able to do that?
Because my client didn't move without his management.
Well, that sounds like that's a choice for him that he made more than so your inability.
That's a choice of the contract.
So you're saying
him being comfortable to move.
So which is it? Because you said it's a choice of him, and then you said it's the part of the contract. So
What
is
is
he
the
not
contract?
allowed to make an appearance unless you're present?
That's what an artist do with a manager, a real management.
I've represented artists before, and unfortunately, I've had several, and I've never had a situation where they will not go unless their manager goes.
Objection to sidebar
So
and testify, counsel testifying.
Yeah, I need half questions, please. Of
yes,
this.
Your Honor. So can you please explain to the jury how your contract is the type of contract that your client will not go, and he miraculously has some special powers that he's allowed to do stuff that the rest of the nation and the world are not doing at that time, circulating around.
Objection, relevance.
Sustained.
So you're saying he lost out on feature money of him making appearances on videos and what else?
Videos appearance features and a couple shows appearance, and the whole world wasn't shut down for a whole year. So throughout the year of 2020, it was quite a bit of shows that we missed out on, and quite a bit of appearance that we missed out on, quite a bit of features appearance we missed out on, promotion where we go to different shops and promote. At the time when I'm down, his whole livelihood was down. It was no one to come and sign the contracts after we appeared at the different events that we was obligated to go to. So
You don't have attorneys to do the contracts for y'all?
Objection, relevance.
Sustained. Please move on, counselor.
Yes, Your Honor. You mentioned that you were in a walker, correct?
yes,
Can you kind of walk us through the timeline, because you said you had a hip replacement? So if the injury
Right.
the injury happened in January, correct?
right,
And your hip was popped back into place, correct?
yes.
How many weeks of treatment did you go through?
Objection, that's the answer.
I want to say at least 2 to 5 months,
Well, which
give or
is
take.
that's a big gap. You said 2 to 5 months of therapy.
Yes, it might have been 2 to 4 months.
When did you start therapy?
I started therapy in February.
The beginning of February?
Yes, maybe the end of January to February, close to the beginning of February.
Okay. And how often did you go to rehab or therapy?
At one point in time, I was going every other day, or maybe every day, but every other day. I think it was Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
Okay. And what would they do for you at those therapy sessions?
It was long days of walking, massages, just a bunch of exercises.
Okay, exercises for what? To get that muscle strong again?
Yeah, yes, and get the reflection back to my hip,
Get the what?
like the reflection, or at the time my hip actually didn't extend like it was, and I was walking wobbly, and so they were just trying to get everything, the muscles and um I guess the nerves back working right.
Okay. And you did that going up every other day for how long? Till like what month?
Hmm. I can't recall. I want to say May. I want to say, yeah, I want to May,
So till
April.
May. You would go twice a week or 3 days a week
Yes,
and did the same thing every day?
yes.
And did you see any improvement?
Um, I did, but I wasn't 100% like I was before the injury.
And you're saying during this time from February to May, you didn't do any work at all?
No.
Were you on your social media at all?
Yes.
What were you on your social media for? Was it personal or did you do anything else, business or promotion wise?
Mm, at the time before the passing of my artist, my social media wasn't used for promotion. His social media was the number one promotion social media that we use. He was so at the time wasn't able to do anything.
So you weren't on social media at all during that time.
I had only 4,000 followers, 5,000 followers. It wasn't useless.
And you made
Useless.
0 appearances during that time?
Say it again.
You made 0 appearances during that time period?
Relevance.
Your Honor, again, I'm going to his saying his conclusion and statement that he couldn't work and do anything during this time.
Okay, I'll allow it. You are asking for those lost earnings as damages, correct, Mr.
We're
Correct.
not, we're not seeing lost wages and lost earnings in this case.
Your
Oh.
Honor,
We're not.
Then how is this relevant then?
I'm going to his lost wages, Your Honor.
He said he's not asking for lost.
Well, excuse me, his time off, he couldn't work. But that's fine, Your Honor. I'm sorry, I was distracted. Your Honor, if I may introduce something as a sidebar off
Can we, is this of an emergency nature or can we?
well, right now, this is being this is proceedings being streamed live on YouTube.
Yeah, I know that, but can we wait until a break to address this issue?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. We'll address it during break. Please continue.
Yes, Your Honor. So after May, what happened next with your injuries or your rehab?
After May, and I was believing it was almost I believe that I thought that everything would go back to regular. Then I got news after May, I guess around August or late July, that I had to get a whole entire hip replacement.
And who told you that?
The doctors.
And what was their reason that for a whole new hip replacement?
I believe something in here, right? Oh, it was something was cracked. And I think the doctor will have to tell you the right information and language for that.
You weren't feeling any pain at that time? Or you thought you were better, you said?
I was still feeling pain. I wasn't able to tie my shoes. I wasn't able to pick up my kids. I wasn't able to. Yeah, I still felt pain.
So you felt pain and the doctor explained it that you still had a crack in your hip?
Yes, I let him explain the language.
Okay. And you were told you need a whole new hip replacement?
Right.
And when, I guess, what was the next step for you after that in May? What was the next procedure for you? What was the next in your treatment?
I can't recall. I let the doctor explain it.
Well, what do you recall as much as what was done?
I don't know the exact language to explain it, so I think the doctor can explain a little more.
I understand, but could you just explain in your words what
In
happened?
In my words, I still was 100% from the incident that happened.
Okay, so what
And I knew my lifestyle that I lived before the injury. I couldn't still do the same thing. That's walking up the stairs in my house. I wasn't able to do that, especially exercising. I was a guy who played basketball, and no way I was able to do that. So I let the doctor explain what was going on for the reason I couldn't do it, anything like that.
So then you immediately next have a surgery?
Objection, Dave.
Your Honor, I'm just trying to find out the next in his step, what happened next, because he said he remembers up until May. So I'm trying to conclude what was the next process in his.
You're mischaracterizing me. He said the decision was made in August for him to go get surgery. So I just want to know next step for what? From that?
Yes, on what happened between May and August.
A couple doctor's appointments and
Any treatment during that time?
doctor visits. It was a bunch of doctor visits, but no treatment.
No treatment, and then you had surgery,
Yeah, I can recall, yeah.
and then you had surgery in August.
I want to say September, August, beginning of September, around the 8th month and the 9th month.
Okay, and then in that day, you had a full hip replacement with that surgery?
Yeah.
But you were out the same day?
I was out late on that night, early that morning.
So it was a day surgery.
Mm,
Were you going in the morning and you released that same day?
Probably late on that night, yeah.
Okay, and that procedure was a full hip replacement.
Yes.
You weren't kept a day or two in the hospital for,
I can't remember, and I was on a bunch of medications. I let the doctor explain explain that, but I was on a lot of medication. I was on medication from, mm, yeah, wow. So I couldn't explain that.
are you sure you didn't have what's called a scope procedure on you?
I'm not I'm not sure. I let the doctors explain it.
Okay, you don't know how to explain it. And did
No.
you have therapy after that? The surgery?
Mm, Yeah, I'm sure it did. Yes,
You remember for how long?
I'm not sure.
Do you remember any other procedures or anything else really of substance after that?
No, no, sir, I'm not sure.
But you said you had to walk with a walker, correct?
Yes,
What time period was that you were walking with the walker?
I can't remember. I was on a bunch of medications. Around the house, I walked with a walker for a while. Um, I was just trying to get back to full strength. It was the most painful thing I ever endured in my life. I couldn't lay down. Yeah.
And what time period did you have to use a cane?
For a while, even up to this day, some days I have to walk with a cane.
You still work with a cane? Okay. Going to the night of that fight that took place, you were saying when you pulled up, you came from another club, correct?
Yeah,
Did you drive there or did you walk there?
Did I walk where? To be live?
Yes.
I walked to be live.
From the other club?
Yes.
Okay. And what is the name of the other club?
Ecstasy.
Okay. When you walk up, did you walk up by yourself?
By myself.
Was there a large gathering of people at the front of V Live when you walked up?
In the parking lot. Is it like yes, yes, sir.
Were there, I guess to kind of give some context to the jury, was there a lot of people around the doorway of the club?
No, sir. It was just a bunch of security guards.
Only security guards and no people at all?
Now, just as I recall, I was focused on the security guards and getting inside the club.
Okay. When you walked up, did you make contact with anybody at all?
Objection vague.
Anybody that was a friend? Anybody that worked for the club? Did you announce your arrival? Did you do anything like that at all?
I took a bunch of
Objection vague. At what point in time? Part of these have already been answered, but I'm confused as to what exactly he's asking about. When he first gets to the parking lot, when he goes through the door.
When he first gets to the club? Because he walked up. You said you walked
To
up
the club or the parking lot?
to the club. He walked up to the door and he only saw bodyguards.
All right, I'm going to allow the question. Just be as specific as possible. Thank you. Please proceed.
When you're walking up towards the door to the entrance of the club, did you greet anybody? Did you say anything to anybody?
yes. In the parking lot, I spoke to a lot of people. I took a bunch of pictures. Um, People was asking me, how was the Grammys yesterday? How Moultrie Broken Love was doing. I heard a bunch of people playing Everybody Ain't Your Friend. Ty Harris was playing in the background. It was just like people was taking pictures and greeting.
Did you, how long did you stand there in the front waiting to go in?
Hmm, Pretty like about 2 or 3 minutes after they told me, hold on.
And your testimony was that just out of nowhere, Mr. Marquis walked out and you came face to face with him?
I never said out of nowhere.
Okay. So where did he come from when you first saw him?
Inside, inside. It came from inside the building.
So you said, so you're telling the jury that he walked from inside
He
the,
ran from inside the building. And my testimony was the security guard said, hold on, and got on the microphone and said, Rainwater's here.
okay. And at that point he came running out the building.
About 45 seconds to a minute and a half later.
Sprinting out just to go straight after you.
I guess I don't know. As I seen his face, I just took off running.
Okay, but your testimony is that he came and then went straight to you. Is that correct?
Yes, he just came straight towards my way. And I
And
just took off running.
and you have absolutely no reason on why he would come straight running at you in that manner,
Mm.
full speed.
At that time, no. I'm just out there trying to promote Mo3 music. We just dropped a song called Broken Love and with Kevin Gates. And I was just trying to promote.
If you have no reason to have any fear of anything like that, why would you take up in a sprint like that?
I'm glad I did.
No, but that doesn't answer my question. Why would you do that?
I'm not sure. I'm glad I'm something in my body just told me to, you're not in a safe situation.
But why would your body tell you that?
It just, as you can see what happened, I just had to get out of there.
We all, the jury and everyone saw what happened.
Yeah. And these are, and at the time, listening to rap lyrics, it's just a dangerous situation. So, I thank God that I got the ability to get out the parking lot.
Okay, you made a reference to rap lyrics. What rap lyrics are you referring to that
Just
made
hip hop, period. Hip hop, period. It just, um, man, hip hop, period.
okay, well, sir, you chose to work with hip hop, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So again, going back to the original, what would cause you to have the fear you had to take off in a dead sprint like you did?
I mean, after seeing an individual running towards me and the comments that I heard behind, get him, there he is. Something that I needed to run to a safe place where it was light and cameras.
So
And
that's
the reputation of what was going back and forth in the hip hop industry. Um, I just needed to get the light.
so are you telling the jury that anytime at any event that you go to or any club, you take off running like that if there's another hip hop artist?
If I know it's a conflict of interest or anybody I work with, yes.
And that is the first time in Dallas you've ever run into another artist, or have you done before run into other artists?
Um, Artists that have the reputation of being dangerous, yes.
Before that incident, you said you've been in hip hop since 2014, right?
Yes.
So at that time it was about 6 years.
Yes.
And in 6 years, you probably doing promotions have been to quite a number of concerts, events, promotions, and things of that nature, right?
And I have never ran into something like that night. I have never been assaulted like that before that night. I have been around the hip hop industry, never seen anything like that.
Okay. Have you ever ran like that before at another event?
Yes.
And which event was that?
Um, I can't recall, but yes.
So your feeling is that, if I'm mistaken, please let me know, the bouncers alerted my client to you being outside, and then he just came flying, sprinting straight out the door and going straight to you,
Right to me.
and you have no explanation of idea why he had that feeling towards you,
Man, what's going on at all?
even though y'all had fights in the past.
I didn't know what's going on. Apparently that night, I didn't know what was going on.
Do you recall sneak punching him that night?
That night? No,
Yes.
no, no. I never did. No,
You never punched him and ran off that night.
no.
Why, what makes you laugh to that?
Because he was running towards me out the door. No,
And you didn't sucker punch him and run off?
no, no.
No. Okay. Have you ever sucker punched him before and ran off?
Not that I can recall that night. That night I was just a spirit of my life.
Okay. Well, why would you be in fear for your life? There's nothing there, nothing going.
Just the reputation, the going back and forth in the hip hop industry, the vibe. It was it was a dark vibe that night. I'm not sure what was going on. So
But sir, you chose to be in that industry. So you keep
uh,
talking about hip hop, but this is an industry you chose and you continue to work for years.
I mean, and all music too. You got country music. I work with country artists, R&B artists like Ty Harris, Bumper John. So, and that vibe that night was just kind of thrown out.
When you say the vibe, what are you referring to the vibe? Because weren't you at another
Just
club?
to look at people's faces and towards me, I was just, and the comments. It was just a bunch of comments that I knew that I needed to get to safety.
But you just said it was a beautiful thing when you walked into the parking lot and people were taking photos of you.
Yes, but closer to the door, it was just the vibe change. The vibe change.
Okay. So after you run, you said you wanted to run to the light, correct?
Yes.
What made you run to the middle of an intersection instead of the gas station across the street?
Because the gas station across the street is used as a parking lot during that time. So I didn't know what individuals at the gas station. As you can see at the end of the video, it was people from the gas station that was shouting disgusting things towards my way. So I knew the intersection, it was different cars and different lighting. So that was just the best place that was to run to safety.
But didn't that parking lot have the same security guard who came out to help you and actually picked you up?
He never helped me.
Okay. But I believe we saw on video he walked out there to
He walked out to me and walked away. He never helped me. He never called authorities. He didn't never do anything. He never helped me.
Okay. And you're saying to the jury that, well, I'll get to that next. Do you recall the moment you first fell during the altercation?
No, I can't recall anything from that night. I was kicked in the head numerous of times. I can't recall anything.
Okay. Looking back at the video, it looks like you were struck a punch and then a kick or two from my client and then a couple from other ones. Do you recall the exact moment your hip hurt or you felt a pain in your hip?
No, sir, I can't recall.
Okay. There also appeared to be a situation in time when another gentleman ran up and tackled you into the ground. Do you recall that moment in the fight?
I viewed it, but I couldn't recall at the time. I didn't know what was going on. I felt like I was just getting it. I just felt like I just wanted to get out the situation.
In that scene, that it looks like the gentleman tackled you and actually fell on top of you when you were on the side of your hip that was hurt. Could that have been the moment your hip got hurt?
No, I can't recall.
You can't recall?
At the time, the feelings, no.
So you had no idea of the pain until you tried to stand up?
No, I knew the pain. Um, the way I first fell when Yella grabbed me is after that, like I can recall.
So, I mean, what do you mean the feeling of the pain when he first grabbed you? What do you mean?
I just knew I couldn't run away no more, so I just knew it was something wrong.
So you just heard it when you were running, then your hip popped out, you think, when you were just running?
No. After I fell down the first time.
Okay. Because at the first time you fell, it doesn't appear like you fell on that side. That's why I asked that question.
Oh yeah, I carried it.
So you can't
Characterize
recall.
the evidence. If you want to show him the video, show him the video.
Yeah, it was just
So you can't pinpoint a time and during that fight when your hip hurt really.
I just got the
Objection, Athens.
Do you have any idea when it got hurt at all?
um nah, I just can't recall.
You mentioned you had a severe fear of my client, correct? Since then?
Yes. Yeah.
And at all costs, you've worked to avoid him?
At all causes.
Okay. When you said you moved your family, where did you move you and your family to? What part of town in Dallas?
Just away from just all the away from 35 South, the zoo area.
So where did y'all move to then?
Just away from everything. Peace.
So you live in East Dallas?
No, just I said peace.
Peace. Okay. You mentioned previously you moved your family to Frisco. Is that still correct or no?
In the area, yes.
So when you say the area, so close to Frisco?
Mr.
Yes.
Bias, Frisco, wherever he is, please help me understand how this is relevant. It's very, very interesting, and someone wants to know that, but I don't think my jury needs to know where he lives to determine whether or not he gives. So come on, let's move on and let's keep it relevant.
Your
It's all
Honor, if
no.
if I made the reason he claimed that he has in complete fear of my client, but yet he knew my client lived in the Frisco area, which Mr. Matthias put on the board, that's where he lived.
arguments. The court has told you what she wants. I don't need a justification. What I need for you to do is move on, counselor, or do a better job of tying it all in because it's not, we've got a limited amount of time. This case cannot continue until next week. And unless they moved in next door neighbors, I don't see the relevance. Let's move on.
Yes, Your Honor. When you got picked up, you were taken to the hospital, correct?
Yes.
And you're saying during that time, you never had any thoughts of filing a police report or calling the police?
Yeah, I was just I was just in fear at the time after hearing rap lyrics about snitching and what happens to snitches that I was, man, I didn't want I didn't want to, I was scared. I was really scared about the reputation of dangerous people that get snitched on.
So that's why you didn't call the police that night?
Yes.
You didn't tell the people at the hospital you were in a fight?
No.
Okay. So even days after when you got home and able to settle things in, you still never thought about filing a police report?
Yeah, I had, after seeing the people laughing on the internet, the video, man, it was just, it was a scary moment.
So you keep mentioning about people laughing on the video. So is this more a situation of your pride being hurt because it was out on the internet and people to see them more than anything?
My life was in danger.
When you say your life was in danger, how was your life in danger?
Just different, I just felt like just different, all the people that was out there shouting, I felt like I mean, the songs, man, my whole life changed after that night.
How did your whole life change?
First of all, I wasn't able to walk and do my activities like I was, and then I had fear. I was just paranoid all the time. Yeah, my whole life changed after that night.
Okay, you have fear and paranoia of what?
Of being attacked again.
By who?
Um, just life period. Just yeah, it's just
You said you have
my
fear of,
my whole way of thinking changed.
and now you have a fear of life.
Just individuals in life. I was so paranoid after that. It's just life changing situation.
Right, so you're saying it's life-changing situation. Have you changed your ways at all about the things you've done since then, or how you conduct yourself since then?
Objection made.
How you travel, how you move about when you go to these clubs, how you conduct yourself on the internet? Has any of that changed since this event?
Before this event, I was never on the internet. That's the biggest thing. I was never on the internet. Yeah, so I changed after that event. I changed. I was never on the internet before the situation.
So you're on the internet more now?
Um, I guess yes.
So how did that event change you where you're on the internet more now?
Objection relevance.
Your Honor, he said it changed his way of life and how he does everything. So I'm just trying to find an understanding to that.
So what is your question?
He said it changed his life. So I'm asking, how did it change how he conducts life now? He said through the like he's on the internet now more with his social media. So I'm asking how and why that is now that he's on the internet more since the accident.
He gave the basis for it already. He said because of the incident, he was on the internet. It's just like you're asking and answered. So I'm going to allow you, but you set the predicate by saying what happened afterwards.
Yes, ma'am. Do you felt by being on the internet now you're safer by being on the internet
I
more?
have 5 kids. I have 5 kids, so I don't move around like that. I'm a father every day, and I always have a child, so I move around. I have to pay security now. Anytime I move around my kids, I got to pay for security. Yeah, my life changed after that
Why do you have to pay for security?
because what happened on January 25th, I was ran down, and I don't ever want to endure that ever again.
So you're saying because of that night you have a constant fear of of anybody attacking you or my client is what I'm trying to understand.
Basically, your client.
So you're saying because of the fight that night, you have a
Mhm.
constant fear for your life
Right,
24/7 from my client.
right. Yeah, and just the dangers that the group and the company um around. Yes.
The company you keep?
No, I don't. I only the company I keep is basically not no hip hop artist. I'm not no hip hop artist. I've been done with hip hop since then.
So you have nothing to do with hip hop now.
I have R&B artists and country artists.
Okay.
Ty Harris is an R&B artist.
Okay. Okay. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
You'd like for me to proceed, Your Honor, or
Just a moment, gentlemen. Redirect on behalf of the plaintiff.
thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Rainwater, just a few follow-up questions for you. Um, this accident occurred approximately 5 years ago.
Yes.
Okay. And opposing counsel was quizzing you on the exact dates of treatment that you had, correct?
Right.
Well, these are 30 or share screen. Okay, and with regards to, you see the chart that we have up here, that's been marked as Exhibit 30 in evidence.
Yes.
Okay, and you see the dates of service that are listed there.
Yes.
Okay, um, and would you agree that the medical records that are in evidence and billing records that are in evidence here would be the best representation of the exact amount of times that you had gone to treatment during that period?
Yes,
Okay, and this chart is a summary of those medical records and the time of treatment and where you ultimately went.
right,
And when you're testifying before, you're testifying to the best of your recollection, but that recollection may not be fully 100% due to the amount of time that you weren't shown any of the documents.
right,
And just for clarity, we have the medical bill from Baylor on January the 26th, 2020.
yes,
Okay, and that would have been your initial hospital visit.
right,
Okay, and then with Complete Injury Centers of Texas was from February the 15th, 2020 to August the 10th, 2020.
yes,
Okay, and that would have been the accurate amount of time that you would have gone for treatment at Complete Injury Centers of Texas.
yes,
Okay. And under number 10, where you have Plano Surgical Hospital, that would have been on 9/15 and 9/17 would have been dates of the surgery that we received, correct?
right,
Okay. And Mr. Rainwater, I'm addressing you as Mr. Rainwater, correct?
yes,
Not as Dr. Rainwater.
right,
Okay, you're not a doctor.
no, sir,
Okay, and when you go to the doctor, all you can indicate to the doctor is ultimately when you got hurt and how you feel,
right,
correct?
Yes.
And then they have to rely on what you say, but also evaluation of you in person, correct?
right,
And then also imaging
yes,
that is done,
yes,
correct? And with regards to diagnoses and what exactly was wrong with you, you don't particularly know. You understand from a layman's perspective what's told to you, but ultimately that's up to a doctor in terms of what happened and why what ultimately happened was causing you to feel the way you are, correct?
yes,
Yes. Okay, and there was some discussion with regards to, I want to clarify, with regards to the interaction with Mr. Conway.
yes,
Okay, and Mr. Conway here is sitting next to Mr. Valens, correct?
right,
Okay, and on the night of the incident, January the 26th, 2020, Mr. Conway came out of the club.
yes,
Okay, and you knew who Mr. Conway was before this incident, correct?
yes.
Okay. And can you explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury why you were in fear for your safety when Mr. Conway came out with other individuals?
Because the first individual came out with his gun in his hand, and that made me kind of worried, like, what's going on? And then seconds later, Mr. Conway came out storming my way.
Okay. And did you have knowledge on January 26, 2020 that Mr. Conway did not like your artist, Mo3?
Yes.
Okay. And how did you know that?
Just going back and forth, and my previous client named Roy Lee, a comedian father, they was going back and forth, and I believe that Roy Lee was assaulted in the club by Mr. Conway, and it was just a bunch of back and forth, and just a dangerous vibe and dangerous crew they came with.
Okay. And the crew that was, there was a crew that was following Mr. Conway out of the club, correct?
Right.
Okay. And those individuals that you're referring to are different than the individuals who you were conversing with in the parking.
Right.
Correct?
It was totally two different crews.
Okay. And there was an assertion there that you had approached Mr. Conway, and I believe the term was snuck him that night.
Yes, sir. No, sir.
Okay.
And if I can recall what he said in the video, excuse my language, I'm just repeating it. He said, "I ran from one nigga."
Okay. And that's all you did that night was run.
Yeah, all I did was run.
Okay. And it would have been pretty stupid based on your understanding, having absolutely nobody with you
I don't think
at the club to start a fight with Mr. Conway when somebody comes out with a gun and he's surrounded by a bunch of people who are in his posse.
right.
Okay. And Mr. Conway never stopped chasing you, did he?
Never stopped.
And he chased you through that gate.
Yes.
Okay. And let's go ahead and pull the video up. Let's do one showing chasing
Okay.
or going to the intersection.
Which one? What did I do?
Now showing exhibit 26.
Roger, could you identify which exhibit this?
Sorry if that wasn't clear. I said we're showing exhibit 26. So. Okay, as we went over earlier, this is Mr. Conway chasing you
Yes.
on the street and you're outside of the gate, correct?
Right.
This is shortly after the interaction we discussed in V Live.
Yes.
Okay, keep on going. Okay, stop.
Mhm.
Okay, stop. So he pulls you in your jacket,
Yeah.
causing you to fall, correct?
Right.
Okay, you press play. Stop. Okay, so his grabbing on your jacket caused you to fall and you fell flat on the ground,
Right.
correct? Okay. And then he lifted you up and punched you,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
And that caused you to fall again.
Right.
Okay. And what part of your body on those two falls are you falling?
My hip.
Okay. Keep on going. Stop. Okay, then as you're getting up for the third time, Mr. Conway kicks you right in the lower midsection of the hip, correct?
Right.
Okay, keep on going. Okay, stop. And after those 3 to 4 impacts, Mr. Bodega shoves you down to the ground.
Yes.
Okay. Did you feel intense and excruciating pain prior to Mr. Bodega
Yeah.
throwing you to the ground?
I just know I had no balance. I couldn't stand up. After I got picked up, after I got back on my feet before being tackled, I couldn't run away like I wanted to.
Your balance was already messed up by the
Right,
time that
right.
Mr. Bodega
When I
shoved
got
you
up
to the ground.
when I got up the first time, when I got up the second time, I would have took off running again.
Okay. And Mr. Bodega struck you at the instruction of Mr. Conway, correct?
Right.
Mr. Bodega would not have caught you if Mr. Conway had not caught you in the middle of the intersection, would he?
No.
And you knew Mr. Bodega didn't like you either.
I didn't know who he was at the time. I just knew he was a part of his crew.
Okay. And anybody in that crew you knew meant you harm?
Yes.
Okay. And you testified earlier that you and Mr. Yellow-Beezy, years prior to this, had been in an altercation.
Right.
Okay. And so it's clear to you, even aside from the beef, that Mr. Rainwater did not like you. Mr. Conway did not like you.
Right.
And Mr. Conway was a dangerous man, and if he saw you, he would likely try to start a fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's one?
Okay. And with regards to the questioning related to the type of surgery you received, this is your basic layman's understanding of what happened, correct?
Yes.
And you would defer to the medical experts and the medical records with regards to the specific procedures that were performed on you, correct?
Right.
Okay, we're showing witness. Exhibit 4, where it says left hip MRI shows a vascular necrosis of the left hip.
Yes.
Okay, and due to the aggravation of the hip, the vascular necrosis, arthroscopic hip surgery will not sufficiently alleviate hip pain. It is medically indicated, correct, and ethical treatments are received with a total left hip arthroplasty to alleviate hip pain and improve hip function. Correct, that's your medical record?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Based on your medical, that's the basis with which you ultimately underwent the total left hip arthroplasty.
Yes, sir.
Nothing further.
Mr. Valles, any cross?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, well, this witness can be off the witness stand. I think this is the perfect time for us to take our morning break. Jurors, leave your notebooks face down in your seats. Remember, do not discuss the case even among yourselves. Do not research, allow anyone to research for you anything about the parties, witnesses, or subject matter of this case. No investigation, no posting on social media. Do not form an opinion. We're going to take a 15-minute break. And so let's get back around 11:15.
Right.